and every day we are sharing science-based psychology in my YouTube channel, and we are discussing about challenges that might high achievers have. High achievers are those who are trying to succeed despite uncomfortable feelings, stress, and uh, stressors that might be around them. And today we will be discussing about workplace resilience, what helps people to stay resilient, to succeed even at times of chaos, challenges, stress, and other difficulties that they might have. And professional resilience is the capability of people to maintain performance and well-being across the adversities, setbacks, and periods of sustained pressure or challenges that every significant professional career inevitably involves. And not resilience as bouncing back quickly without feeling anything, but resilience as the capacity to be affected by difficulty without being defined or permanently limited by it. So, according to George Bonona at Columbia University, uh, he has conducted a research, the most extensive research on resilience following adversity, and he found that uh, his findings challenged the prevailing clinical assumptions is that resilience is far more common than clinical literature suggested. Many people who experience significant adversity, including the losses of property or close people, or traumatic events, uh, were able to maintain relatively stable psychological and physical functioning without significant impairment. Also, there were a lot of other researches conducted. For instance, in one of researches conducted in Turkey, they have found that people who had experienced earthquakes or other traumatic events, some of them were able to function well and relatively maintained their mental and physical well-being, whereas others were affected less, and they started to research what were certain factors that helped them to stay resilient. And social factor was among one of the reasons that helped them to bounce back and to relate to difficulties differently and to be impacted less, and also coping strategies that they had and ability of being able to use those coping strategies, and also their thoughts about the event, how they interpreted it, what meaning did they tie to it, and how they responded to it. So even if considerably difficult events are occurring in our life, the research shows that if we are able to use certain strategies or to use social supports, people even can get stronger after adversities. And Banana also distinguished four trajectories following adversity. The first of them is resilience, stable functioning, maintained throughout. The second one is recovery, initial impairment followed by gradual return to baseline. And the next one is chronic dysfunction, which means prolonged significant impairment or delayed dysfunction. Initial stability followed by later impairment when resources are exhausted. And understanding which trajectory is operating and what factors differentiate them is the foundation of resilience science. So simply it means this, that understanding what actually keeping you holding you back, or where are you in these trajectories, might help you to find better solutions to support yourself. And as I said, there are a lot of successful people who also had traumas or traumatic events, adversity, stress, and who were able to succeed, to be successful, to turn back to life. And what's it's important to consider their lives and try to understand what are certain factors that help them to be successful, to succeed, or to relate differently to the challenges they were having. For instance, Satya Nadella stepped into leadership after a period where Microsoft was widely seen as failing behind. And there was a lot of criticism, doubt, pressure, and most probably it was difficult for her during those times. And if you listen to how he talks about that time, he didn't frame it as this is the end. He started he didn't frame it as this is the end. He chose to focus on what do I build next. And same situation, maybe whenever you are facing a challenge or you are in a difficulty, maybe your mind starts to tell you different stories, to catastrophize that this is the end. And however, he focused on treating the challenge as if it was the opening. So, if your story is still being written, and it is what would you want the next chapter to look like, if you could consider that your story is still continuing despite these challenges, how you would like the next chapter to look like. And just the next part, you don't have to solve all the problem or decide about all your future. What would be the smallest step that you can take in order to take the next steps to create your future? And maybe you feel afraid that people will see you as not capable, or maybe you are worried that people are criticizing you that you couldn't succeed. And however, there are always certain people who are also supporting you. So, whenever there is a challenge, criticism, a difficulty, parallelly, there are also certain positive things that are happening in our life. But at that time, it might be difficult for us to focus our attention on what works or what coping strategies, which resources do we have, and intentionally shifting your attention towards your resources or people who are supporting you, or uh, any capabilities, qualities that you might have but you have forgotten, is a very, very valuable tool that many successful people are using in their lives. So you can either focus on the setbacks and on what went wrong, or on the criticism that you have at that time, or either you can focus on how to create the next chapter and how to find resources and what might help you to take the next steps. And depending on it, your future will be shaped. And what are you generally saying? And your ability to achieve this state, even to overcome the challenges, what does it say about you? Uh, and what helped you to come this far? Your mind is very good at selecting one version of the story, but it's not the only version. And so oftentimes we focus just on one part of our life, or on one challenge, on one failure. However, you are not. You are not just one version of you. There are a lot of different parts of you, different versions of your patient version, a contributing version, a successful version. And when we feel sad or upset, or when we feel as if we are a failure, we are more focusing on just those those parts at that moment. So reminding yourself about other parts, about instances of success, is one of strategies you might try to apply. And Sarah Blakely talks openly about failing the LSAT multiple times, and imagine the story her mind could have created. Maybe she had some thoughts, this proves I'm not capable, but that wasn't the story that defined her. What mattered is what she did next. So, despite everything that happened, you are still here, and you are still listening, thinking, and still trying to figure out how to support yourself. Even the evidence of being here uh, tells a lot about you, that you are trying to learn, you are trying to gain new perspectives, or to find new resources to support yourself better, to succeed. This tells a lot about you, that you care about your relationships, your career, about yourself, and about your future. What has helped you to keep going even this much? Because something is working, and I want to make sure we don't miss that. And whatever those resources are, what does that say about you? And let's say a few months from now, things are not perfect, but they are getting better, and you are functioning, you are moving, you are making progress, you have started to rebuild the new chapter that you wanted. What would be the first small sign that tells you I'm getting back on track? What would you notice about yourself? What would others notice about you? And now we are not getting somewhere else, but it's not about eliminating what happened or trying to ignore your challenges you had, but that's about building forward. And Even people at the highest level feel that, might have this anxiety or feelings that you are experiencing right now. Elon Musk, for instance, faced multiple very public failures with SpaceX before successing, and there were real moments when the narrative could have been, this is over, but it wasn't, because the outcome wasn't decided by the thought, it was shaped by what he did the next. And let me ask you something very interesting. What's one small step, just one, that would move you even slightly toward getting back on track version of you? Not a big plan, just one, the smallest step that you can take. And your mind may be answering to my question as, my career over? And this question leads nowhere useful. Instead, we can try asking, what am I building from here? This question creates movement, creates opportunity, creates help. And I want to say, you are not starting from zero, because you have your experience, you have your skills, you have already handled challenges before. So when you face something difficult professionally, even if it's not the same, something similar, or any other challenge in other areas of your life that might help you to overcome and to succeed, to manage, to get through it, what did you do then? And that version of you who succeeded is still here sitting with me. And you have already identified what you want instead, what's still working, what recovery could look like, and one step forward. That's how resilience is built. Not by deleting doubt or uncomfortable feelings, but continuing anyway. And if we were to keep working together, I would keep asking you questions. The most useful answers are already within your experience, and we just need to bring them forward. So, if this moment is not the end and instead just a difficult part of your story, what do you want to do next? You can start from here. And research on occupational resilience shows that resilience, specifically in the professional context, identifies 5 key factors that differentiate more from less resilient professionals, and one of most important ones is values clarity and stability. People who are able to understand what's important for them, what's meaningful for them, and to use those values while setting goals, were able to succeed more or to stay more resilient when faced with challenges and setbacks. And the second one is cognitive flexibility, being able to respond differently and freely to uncomfortable feelings and thoughts that might be visiting you. And capacity to generate multiple explanations for negative events rather than uh, seeing just one perspective. And resilient professionals do not deny adversity, they contextualize it accurately. And the next one is social support network quality. People who are having a lot of supportive networks and environments are able to thrive and to succeed better. And this doesn't mean having hundreds of people, however, having several supportive relationships and being able to receive feedback and unconditional support, genuine understanding are were found among the factors that are contributing and helping the people to succeed. And self-efficacy from genuine mastery, noticing thoughts that you have about your performance, about you, and being able to believe that you can succeed is another factor that contributes to people's success. Confidence in one's ability to learn and adapt, built from actual evidence of past learning and adaptation rather than from positive affirmation. And resilient professionals have an accurate evidence-based belief in their capacity to develop. And recovery practices, this includes coping strategies that we have discussed previously, and regular activities that restore your physical, psychological resources, not distraction, but actual restoration of the systems that performance depletes. This can be supportive relationships, any activities, hobbies, sports, music, or anything that helps you to relax, to recover, and to refresh. And if you to consider for acceptance commitment therapy perspective, one of sources of resilience is psychological flexibility. It's again ability to stay with discomfort, with uncomfortable feelings, thoughts, and to stay present at that moment, and to be able to act from your values and being able to take steps even during the difficult days, even when you feel sad, upset, and still taking small steps in that direction where you want to move. And applied to professional adversity, psychological flexible professionals can acknowledge the difficulty of a setback without catastrophizing it, and can hold difficult emotions without either suppressing them or being overwhelmed by them, and can maintain values aligned action even in the difficult times. And diffusion from career catastrophe thoughts. So anyone might have automatic thoughts that they have failed, that this is the end, or they are a failure. Our being able to notice that these are just thoughts, and these thoughts tell us certain information that we care about our performance, and being able to see just information and to use it in order for instance, if you have anxiety or these thoughts, accepting them as just information about what you care, and maybe taking small steps in that direction that you care instead of feeling stuck with those thoughts. So diffusion, which means stepping back and being able to notice the thoughts and to stay with them, helps the ability to take the next step, because if you are not able to notice that this is a thought, and if you are fused with the feelings, this would decrease psychological flexibility and ability to take steps. So the next one is value stability through career turbulence. So for instance, if you have a goal of learning or contributing to people, and if you are using these values in your goals, even if you are failing in a short run, this will help you to keep going, because even if you have failed, this was an attempt to learn, this was an attempt to contribute, and this would not mean a failure for you completely, and this would help you to keep going, to keep succeeding, to keep making meaningful steps in the direction that matters for you. So we tried to identify certain strategies that we are using in psychotherapy, using solution-focused brief therapy and acceptance commitment therapy and neuroscience, and what different people have found about adversity, what does it mean, and what are certain factors that contribute towards resilience. And we have identified the ability to see their thoughts as thoughts, and to be able to step back and take action even during the difficult times, social support, coping strategies, and ability to use those coping strategies, and noticing beliefs about yourself. For instance, if you think that you are a failure, noticing this and creating different interpretations, seeing the situation, yourself, or the world from different perspectives, and also noticing self-limiting beliefs that you might have, and being able to see and consider the failure or adversities from different perspectives, and to find different meaning from it, were certain strategies that might be used if you want to stay more resilient, stronger, and to succeed even during difficult times. And also setting goals that are aligning with your values, or including your values into your goals, is one of the factors that contributes to success and also decreases burnout levels. And even during the times of the setbacks or challenges, seeing it as an information that you might need in order to develop your new skills, and instead of staying stuck in that adversity, asking yourself, what's the next step I can take? What are certain things I can do in order to create my next chapter? And we have seen from the stories of successful people that this becomes one of factors that create success in the future. For instance, in the example of Elon Musk and others, we have noticed that most of them, they had adversities or challenges, but what contributed to their success was that they continued to take the next step even at the times of adversity, and they have seen a failure or difficulties as opportunities to create more, to understand themselves better, and to understand which skills they need to develop. And so if you already started to take the smallest step towards the version of you that you want to be, even in the face of difficulties, for instance, if you are experiencing difficulties or critiques, or if you think that you have failed, maybe you failed an exam, maybe you failed a project, maybe uh, you failed certain skills that you wanted to learn. What would tell you, what would let you know that you are slightly making progress and moving towards the version of you that you want to be? What would let you know that things are getting better and you are reacting as the person you want to be? And I will leave you with this question, and if you have any further questions or strategies that you would like to ask, or if you have any suggestions on what are your interests or next topics that you want to listen or to learn, you are welcome to leave your comments and questions in the comments. Take good care of yourself, and if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications, and you are also welcome to share my videos with other people who you think might benefit from it. Take good care of yourself, and see you in the next videos again.